a coma. He had a hard time dealing with the pain. You see, while he was at the hospital, he was heavily medicated, but he got out not fully recovered. It left him with trouble walking and chronic pain. It is said that around this time, he decided to take matters into his own hands, and he picked up smoking PCP to manage his pain. But what started as a form of medication soon became an addiction. PCP was originally developed as an anesthetic, but the side effects were so horrible that it fell out of use. It makes your body feel very numb, your vision and sound perception get distorted, and you can start hallucinating like a maniac. There are countless of cases where people do horrible things to others or themselves while high on PCP. I always report a story from all available angles, leaving you to decide which statements make the most sense. Due to this reason, I want to mention that during the Vlad TV interview, he mentioned never taking PCP before the incident and trying it for the first time on the night of the murder.
I don't get high, but one night, we went to the Hoodie Awards and all that, and I'm with one of my big G homies. He a legend, prison baby, you know what I mean? And he smokes firm. And he's a big legend, a rider. And I want to fit in, I don't want to look like a punk, I'm like, I didn't hit it before, but I don't get high. I don't snort powder. I don't do nothing. I smoke weed and tobacco. I don't even drink.
At the same time, in the Rhyme and Punishment documentary, which was released in 2011, he did state that he begun using PCP to ease the pain.
So on September the 16th, I had a car accident. A drunk driver hit my car. I broke my neck. When I got out, I couldn't walk or nothing. I was really feeling a lot of pain. So what I did was, I started smoking PCP. I smoked it 2 or 3 times when I was younger and got that numbing feeling. So I was using PCP as an anesthesia.
I'll leave this one for you to decide which of his claims for you to believe. After the car crash, labels started approaching him, claiming that they could help him bounce back. As I've said, the man had talent. He decided to go with BMR, Black Market Records. The owner of the label, Milton Grimes, was a famous, well-established lawyer at the time. After signing with the label, Singleton started to work on his new album. He decided to go and link with all the people from the label in the studio. In an interview, Big Lerch said that he didn't like the atmosphere in the studio and felt a lot of hostility. It was all due to the fact that a lot of members of the label were affiliated with the Crip gang, including the owner of the label, while Singleton was a Blood. They started to bump heads because of it, and Singleton decided to move back to Texas. As I mentioned before, although Lerch had connections in the music industry by now, he still didn't have any money to his name. He wanted to do his own thing in the music game, but he needed money to finish his album. He went back to selling drugs, but it didn't take a long time before he got caught on drug charges and was sent to jail. He got out on bail, and interestingly enough, Milton Grimes, the owner of the record label, despite their differences, volunteered to help him out with his case. Because of this, Singleton promised to finish his album for the label. Around this time in the 2000s, Big Lerch changed the subject matter of his songs, and with two faces of the gangster rap Tupac and Biggie dying, he turned towards a subgenre called horrorcore. Rappers whose music is classified as horrorcore or horror rap are Eminem, Ghetto Boys, Insane Clown Posse, and more. Dark topics became more and more common in his music, with him frequently mentioning serial killers, such as Jeffrey Dahmer, and villains such as Jason and Freddy. After beating his case, Big Lerch got back to LA, but the tension between label members was still there, so instead of moving back, he started to get more and more involved with the local LA gangs. Members of these gangs, who Singleton was hanging around with, were heavily into PCP, which is also known as angel dust or sherm.
All this tension and all this shit, led to me running the LA streets and with killers and smoking sherm with them.
At some point, when he moved to LA, he moved to a dope house and lived with his roommate, Thomas Moore, who was known to be a gang member and at the time was also dating the victim of the murder, Tanisha. In 2002, while working on his album in LA, they were having a party at his apartment. Moore and Singleton got together with a couple of friends and started taking PCP. The most common way of consuming